They have the DIG who watch the home shots, but again, there isn't really anything new about that. Besides, the usual. Well, no matter what, despite winning Best Picture, didn't make number one, which is funny. But it is like a couple of weeks at the Oscars. But Marksman is the number one movie in that. But we going on the not Blu-ray which hasn't really changed. The domestic box office no release schedule, and we'll be going over which movies have a chance. What movies have a chance of making money? Because the theaters are gonna come back. People will finally be able to see movies in the theaters again. So the first is Dream Horse. Well, I gotta add that to the list of movies to do Blu-ray weeks on. There we go, Dream Horse. Then next week we have Cruella and Quiet Place Part 2. Dream Horse is probably gonna do like $3 or $4 or $5 million. It's not a big movie, basically. Coming out tomorrow. Next is Cruella and A Quiet Place Part 2. So, okay, so again, I think a lot of people a lot of people were fully vaccinated. A lot of people are fully vaccinated now. I think around 40% of the population. So, A Quiet Place Part 2. We got adjusted for the pandemic. We're gonna compare it to the first movie as well. So we have again Godzilla versus King Kong versus King Kong and versus King of the Monsters. Is pretty accurate, but you have Quiet Place. Quiet Place Part 2 versus Quiet Place. Quiet Place opened with $50 million and it made $188 million. I think it's gonna open like $20 to $30 million, basically. Probably somewhere in the middle, 25 million or something like that. And it'll probably end up grossing like $100 million. But again, it does have to compete with The Conjuring. That's gonna be one thing. It has to compete with The Conjuring. Then Cruella. Disney's gonna find a way. Disney's gonna find a way to make Cruella make like make like $100 million domestically. Disney's gonna somehow persuade enough people to go see the movies because that's how they are. And but that doesn't really work anymore. Why a flop? But why was when the pandemic was starting to end. It was at the beginning of the end, so it was like a sacrifice. But Cruella, Disney's gonna be like, it's gonna say, it's a big movie of next week, so we gotta make everybody see it because it had the Disney logo and the Disney cover on it. It's gonna probably open to like $20 to $40 million as well. Hopefully, I can pick worst case scenario. Hopefully, it opens at the worst case scenario, so Disney can pay for the garbage live action remakes around $10 to $20 million. But of course, Disney can somehow make it like $40 to $50 million, but it won't make $40 to $50 million. Thank God. Next is Conjuring Devil do me. Considering that last two movies weren't that great, I don't think a lot of people are excited for this. It will probably make like $12 to $15 million. It's also compete with The Quiet Place as well. Samaritan will also probably make like $6 to $8 million. Spirit Untamed. I don't think there was a really large fan base for the first movie. I liked the first movie, but there wasn't really a big fan base for the first movie. So it'll probably open to like 6 to 10 million, as well. It's also an animated movie, and the last movie was like Wire and the Lost Dragon. It'll probably open like 12 million because it's like End the Heights, since it's like the only release, will probably go to like 8 million. Basically, Vivo was cancelled. Next is Hitman vs Bodyguard, and Peter Rabbit 2, and some like limited release movies. Basically, Hitman's Life Bodyguard will probably open to like the similar to the first one, like 10 to 20 million. Peter Rabbit will probably gross around a similar gross 10 to 20 million. Fast 9, F9 Fast Saga. This is gonna probably gross like 50 to 60 million. Probably gross similar and gross to Hobbs and Saw. That's the one. That was the last one. That was the spinoff. It will probably make that much money. Forever Purge. Okay, we gotta see what. They'll probably open like 10 million, like the rest of the Purge series, and make like, and it's gonna make it going to 20 million. The first Purge, it's gonna have like rigs like the first Purge did. It's gonna probably open like 15 million because the last one was so bad. 15 to 12 million. Probably even lower, like 8 million. But probably still math goes like 40 to 50 million, like Raya did. It will probably have Raya like legs, because the first Purge had the best legs of any Purge movie. So it's probably gonna be like that as well. Well, and you look at the box office for the Purge movies, and yeah, it's gonna end up being like any other Purge movie, basically like that. And then we have Black Widow. That's the next movie on this list. So Black Widow Oh, that's gonna be a hard one. I don't think it's gonna go to $100 million first weekend. You know, it's gonna probably gross like Ant-Man and the Wasp numbers. Okay, Ant-Man and the Wasp didn't really do too well compared to other Marvel movies. But it is the first big Marvel movie. But again, there is the Disney Plus thing, so it's gonna go like 80 million. Next is Dog, Escape Room, and Space Jam. Space Jam's probably I think Black Girl's gonna probably top this weekend. Or be number 2 to Space Jam, but Space Jam will probably goes 20 to 30 million. Space Jam's like a very popular like cult classic movie. You know, it has a very large fan base online. Escape Room will probably just goes 10 to 20 million. Nobody really liked the first movie, so it's not gonna really do too well. Dog, I have no idea how this will gross. This is like the sleeper hit. Basically, it's gonna be like the sleeper hit movie. Basically, it could be a super hit. I think it's gonna be like the super hit movie. It's gonna gross like 10 to 20 million, and then end up like grossing like $120 million. Next is Hotel Transylvania, the Snake Eyes, and Old. Old will probably not do too well, but it'll be between Snake Eyes and G.I. Joe. G.I. Joe will probably, Hotel Transylvania will probably gross like 30 million, like all the other movies, and that's like gross like $200 million domestically, like every other movie. Okay, it'll probably grow. It'll probably be the first one to grow, beat in box office expectations. you know, and yeah, we have the Hotel Transylvania movies. Considering that a lot of these movies always get good reviews. Everybody really likes this. This is probably gonna be in line with the rest of the franchise. Make like open with like $40 to $50 million and end up grossing like $150 to $170 million domestically. And probably be the highest grossing entry in the series as well worldwide. I wouldn't be surprised if it does that because these movies, a lot of people love these movies. Hotel Transylvania, they're extremely popular. Basically, they're extremely popular movies, so they're gonna probably. And also, the last, animated movie will be Spirit, so it will be basically a perfect timing. Oh, and also be competing with Space Jam, but Space Jam's most of that movie's fans will be like the cult following fans. And Snake Eyes G.I. Joe will probably goes like 20 million. It'll probably be like a big flop and failure. Next we have Green Knight. Don't know how this movie will gross. Don't even know what it's like. Basically, it's based on. Oh, it's another King Arthur movie. Oh yes, this will probably not do too well at the box office. It'll probably do like 10 to 20 million. So there is it is A24's attempt at making like a blockbuster, I believe. Next is Jungle Cruise. That will probably go like 30 to 40 million. Stillwater will do okay, like 10 million. Then we have the Suicide Squad. That will probably go like $60 million opening. Again, the last two DCEU movies were not that popular. So I'm gonna go with the Wobble. I can go with the Wobble here and say Birds of Prey gross. 9 days. That's gonna expand wide. That's gonna probably go like 6 million. Don't Breathe 2, the first one was pretty successful, will probably grow. I think everything will get back to normal by August 14th. So it will probably grow similar to the first movie. Was over to 20 million. It ended with like 60 to 70 million, 70 to 80 million. Free Guy will probably open like 15 million. It ended up like 50 to 60 million. Then we have these movies. Night House, these movies will probably gross like 10 to 15 million. Parzies and Revenants will probably even gross lower grosses. Here, but yeah, Candyman, Beatles will probably goes like 5 to 6 million. It's gonna be like those limited release movies. It is being made by Disney for some. It's being made by Disney, but it's gonna be like one of those like event movies. Basically, it could become very popular if people actually like it, but it's gonna be like that. So next is Shang-Chi, which will probably gross like 40 million. It is releasing on Labor Day weekend, which means this will probably be the highest grossing Labor Day weekend in history, since it is a Marvel film. Actually, I think it'll gross like 60 million because it is a Marvel movie. I don't think people are but I think this will be a movie that people will start burning out on Marvel. It'll probably be on the lower end of the movies, but I could be wrong about Shang-Chi. Next is the Card Counter and Maleficent. I can't really say anything about that one, but these movies won't really do too well. Card Counter will probably do like 10 to 15 million. Savior Maleficent will probably go like 20 million. Boss Baby, that will probably go like 30 million opening. Probably go similar to the first movie, like 45 to 50 million. A lot of kids are going to go want to see this movie, as well. Next is the Venom weekend. These other three movies are gonna flop. Maybe sense of New York might gross like 15 million, but Venom is gonna be like the big thing. They even canceled like the My Little Pony movie and Infinite and just put them on the Paramount channel because they're so scared of Venom that yeah, Venom's gonna probably gross like the same like probably the first movie of the year to gross $100 million its first weekend. Adam's Family 2 will probably gross similar to the first one. Dune, don't know how that one will do. Probably do like 30 to 40 million as well. Adam's Family probably do like 20 million to 15 to 20 million. No Time to Die will probably make like $60 million. Can't really say about Disney Live Action 4 because there's no like title for that. Halloween Kills will probably gross like 80 to 60 to $70 million, and the last two will not do too well. Jackass 4 will probably be the highest grossing movie, second highest grossing movie of the weekend, besides of course, you know, Halloween. Jackass will probably go like 20 million, and the other three will probably not do too well. But again, one of these movies could be a super hit. And then we have this weekend Elvis probably do okay like 20 million. Clifford will probably do like 20 million. Eternals will probably go like 50 to 60 million. You know, I don't. Not a lot of people are really excited for Eternals. Ghostbusters will probably go to 100 million. A lot of nostalgia behind that, behind Ghostbusters. I know the last one was a failure because it was the woke Ghostbusters, but they're finally making an actual follow up to the first two Ghostbusters movies, so it'll probably make like $100 million since everybody has been dying to see it, pun intended. Okay, and then it's Belfast that will probably not do well. It'll probably be a good week for Ghostbusters. Then we have Acceptable Santa Claus that will probably do okay. You know, Disney live action that doesn't have a title. King Richard will probably do okay as well, 20 to 30 million. 10 to 20 million. The Top Gun will probably top the weekend with like 40, 50 million. Then we have this Resident Evil will probably be the highest grossing movie because you don't know what other movies are coming out then. And Encanto and Gucci will probably... Oh, Encanto is Disney. I didn't know Encanto was Disney. Yeah. So that movie will probably top the box office. I didn't even know Encanto was Disney. I didn't even look up who make it. Yeah, Encanto will probably top the box office because it's Disney and Disney... Excuse me. Will probably top the box office until, you know, they'll... But yeah, Resident Evil probably goes like 10 million because people hate the Resident Evil movies. But it could be good, so it could go 20 million. But Encanto will probably goes like 80, 60 to 50 million because it's Disney. But again, Disney is is declining, so it'll probably be lower. But it is like the Thanksgiving weekend. Next is American Underdog Cut. Warner Story will probably do well. Well, then we have this big, massive weekend, and we have all these movies that don't have a release date. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, the Cinderella movie was canceled for feeders. American Underdog will probably do okay, like 10 million. Then we have this massive weekend. People that won't know Jordan are not gonna do too well. There could be I think there could be like those Oscar movies. They're gonna do like 5 million, like 1 million, like first week, and then like they'll like not have great opinions. But then because the Oscars roll around, they're gonna make so much money because the Oscars will give them like, you know, like, oh my god, these are so great because it's Oscars. Then we have we have basically just the bloodbath here. I'm just gonna call this the bloodbath here because one of these movies is gonna flop. Okay, I don't see all of these movies coming out alive. Okay, and these are all sequels as well. Okay, we have Spider-Man No Way Home, Downtown Abbey 2, Kingsman, Matrix 4, and Sing 2. Okay, Spider-Man will do well because it's a Marvel movie and it's separated from all the rest. It'll probably open like it'll probably open like $100 million because Spider-Man's so popular. It'll be like when the Star Wars movies comes out and then all those are like the movies that come out afterwards. And then we have the big bloodbath here. Okay, the big bloodbath. Okay, Downtown Abbey was not really that popular. I think that's gonna be one of the ones that flops because it's competing because I think the Matrix 4 is gonna be successful unless it's like really bad. Okay, same thing as Sing 2. You know, a lot of people want to see it, especially kids. So it's good. I think Kingsman will probably be like the one that's not gonna do too well. You know, it's the prequel to the Kingsman series, but considering how Disney has been treating Fox lately, I don't think it's gonna do too well at the box office. It's gonna probably open to like 10 to 20 million. It's gonna probably open to like 10 to 20 million dollars. It's gonna be like the big flop of the weekend of the holidays because these are always like that one big flop. Again, it could be a 2018 box office repeat here. It could be a 2018 repeat. So we're going to the 2018 movies release calendar, but then there was no Star Wars movie. That was the thing. There was no Star Wars movie to compete with it. Okay, no Star Wars movies on that week. Basically, here we have 2018 movies. We have the release calendar here. Okay, and it's also a parallel. So we have a Spider-Man movie releasing. That was Spider-Man the Spider-Verse. That was actually projected to flop. Yeah, we had all these bigger releases. We had Mary Poppins, Spider-Man and the Spider-Verse release. But they're all more spread out. Unlike this year, they're just gonna drop them all at once, okay? But then we still had flops, like Mortal Engines was a flop, okay? Mortal Engines was a box office failure. It was a box office failure. Vice and Holmes and Watson was a failure, but Holmes and Watson was a failure because it was bad. But Vice was a failure, and Mortal Engines was still a failure, okay? I think there is going to be one movie that's going to be a flop out of them all, and it won't be the Marvel movie, it won't be The Matrix, and it won't be Sing. And probably Downton Abbey because the budget won't be that big. Because again, you have to think about it. The first Downton Abbey didn't really have a big budget. So if Downton Abbey keeps the budget below $50 million, which it's gonna do, because yeah, the original movie still made like $194 million worldwide. The budget was like $50 million or something like that. If they keep the budget down to like $50 million and it just makes the same amount of money as the first movie, I think it could make a lot of money, And it is the holidays, and they aren't really going to release anything for a while. Basically, I'm not really going to go into 2022 movies box office movies here, but yeah, one of these movies is going to flop, it's gonna be either Kingsman or Downton Abbey 2, or it could be The Matrix 4. The Matrix 4 is a big, massive pile of doo-doo, okay? And it still could be, or it could be P-41. I think P-41 is gonna be a flop unless it's like an Oscar movie. But it is a religious movie, so those religious people are going to see it, but it's not, but I think I'm talking about the big five. Spider-Man's not going to flop, okay? And Sing 2 is definitely not going to flop because the first one did so well. I think the second one's not going to flop, okay? And Illumination just put out, in their budget's going to be like it's going to be like $70 million like every other Illumination movie. Matrix because Keanu Reeves. And so I think the Kingsman's going to flop. The Kingsman's going to flop, okay? It's going to be the Mortal Engines of 2021. It's gonna come out, gonna be forgotten and overshadowed by the bigger movies. I think this movie's gonna flop too. These movies might not flop, but yeah, this is gonna be like the bloodbath. Now let's get to 2022, okay? 355 is gonna flop. I'll have to explain that one. Okay, this is gonna be pretty bad. Yeah, I'm not gonna get to 2022 because these dates are subject to change, The Batman will probably do pretty well and stuff like that, but these dates are all titled to change as well. And yeah, that's basically it about this video. Goodbye.